Hello everyone, I'm Ethan Cannistra. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's edition of the Ethan Cannistra Show. This is the weekly show where I go into the latest news in the world of movies to get my insight into what it all means. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's go on to the first topic of the day. And the first topic is that we officially have this Joker poster and a new trailer for the Joker movie. This movie's coming out on October 4th, and it's starring Joaquin Phoenix. And I have to be honest, I really like this trailer a lot. I think it's very different from what we've seen DC do, and I think it's a really good move for them to be making this really kind of almost independent feeling kind of movie, kind of completely removed from the DCEU for a couple of reasons. One of which, the DCEU, despite what you may think about it, if you love Batman vs Superman, if you love Justice League, if you love Man of Steel, the reality is the majority of people don't feel the same way about that. They just don't. And whether you agree or disagree with that is a completely different story. But the reality is, most people don't like the CCEU. And recently, we have seen DC kind of changing their mentality to the CCU because we have a new captain of the ship, if you will, who's in charge of the CCU called Walter Hamada. And we've definitely seen DC kind of take charge of the DCEU more recently. Because we went through a phase for a long time when they kept releasing movie after movie, or announcing movie after movie after movie. And then it felt like almost every week it was like, oh, never mind. This movie's completely canceled now. There's nothing we're going to do about it. Hold on one second. My mic is not working here. Oh, yes. Okay. We're all good. But there was a period of time for a long time where pretty much it felt like almost every week a movie was announced, and it's like, oh, never mind, it's still 80 year. And I really like this mentality that DC has been having lately. They're taking their time, they're planning everything out, and then they're executing it. They're not rushing to announce a new movie every week, pretty much just like they used to do as little as 6 months ago, saying a Flash movie's coming out in November. No, it's not. It's coming out in January. They plan everything out. They see how their movies do. Like with Shazam, Shazam just opened. It did well, so DC's like, all right, let's start developing a Shazam 2, but let's not make any official announcements. But they're also moving away from the shared cinematic universe idea. Now, do they still have a cinematic universe? Yes, but it's quite different than it was before. They're not throwing all the characters into one movie like they did with Justice League and Batman vs Superman. They're focused on telling these more intimate stories. Like, and I haven't seen Shazam yet. I'm planning on seeing it maybe next weekend. Um, but the reality is that they have been moving away from that. We saw that with Aquaman. We got like one reference to what happened, the events of Justice League and Aquaman. I've heard that they're moving away from the shared cinematic universe in Shazam. They all clearly exist within the same universe, but they are telling their own very separate and unique stories without having to rely on other characters. Now they're taking it one step further, which I really like, though. They're completely taking the cinematic universe idea out of the Joker movie and making it a 100% standalone movie, which I think is really kind of cool. Because it's been a really long time since we got these isolated movies for a long time. But I think like Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man was like one of the last solid original standalone movies that we got from a Marvel or DC character. And I've been missing that. Look, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love the DC Cinematic Universe. But on one hand, I miss these isolated stories like Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I really do miss that. And I wish on one hand that they would move away from these or these cinematic universes, or not necessarily move away, but have some other ideas. Not every movie has to be a shared cinematic universe. We can have these isolated characters that are unique in their circumstances, and there's not a superhero on every block like it is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And don't get me wrong, I really like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I really like the DCEU. But we're never going to see a movie like Joker in the DCEU in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's why I really like this trailer. Because it's with this one guy who is just unique in this world, and it's just one bad day, and that's what pushes him over the edge to become like this crazy person known as the Joker. It's not relying on a Batman, it's not relying on a Superman. You'll have to throw other DC Comics characters in there, but you get this really cool, unique movie about this one guy without having to rely on other characters. I think that's really cool. So let me talk about the trailer. The trailer's awesome, and I love the route that DC is going with this movie. I think that having him, I saw this really interesting theory or not really theory, but this interesting statement online that I really liked. I'm going to repeat here. Pretty much, Instead of in the 1980s, you have the Joker, he's dropped in acid, and that's how he becomes the Joker with the white skin. But in this movie, instead of dropping him in a vat of acid, they drop him in society and see what happens to him there. And this movie is trying to show, like, yeah, one bad day can just make you lose your mind. And I just find it really interesting. They're not relying on superpowers or anything like that or crazy comic book stories. They're relying on putting this guy in a real world that's clearly our world, but just pushing him a little bit over the edge and see how people respond. And I think it's kind of meant to show, like, be a analogy to our real world about how, look, some people are just pushed over the edge and it's too much for them. I mean, obviously nobody's going to turn into someone like the Joker, but it can really change you just having one bad day. You get fired from a job, your girlfriend or breaks up with you, something like that, and it drives you a little crazy. Again, not like the Joker, but I think you see what I'm saying. And I just like how they're taking a very grounded approach to it, which I think is really cool too. Like I keep saying, no superpowers, no other characters, just this guy. And you can almost see where he's coming from this. Like he's just like in the trailer, you see him get beat with a sign, and he gets like robbed multiple times, and it's just like he's had enough, so he's gonna turn into almost a crime lord in a way. I think this is where they're going, and I think it's kind of cool that they're taking like a standalone method to this movie too. And what I mean by that is, in the comics, you have these one-shot comics that tell all these unique stories, so you can have like different things happen. Like one of those, like I think Superman Red Sun or something, where Superman, instead of landing in the U.S., he lands in Russia. And then the Joker, they're kind of doing a little bit of that, and this is just a pure theory, and I have nothing to back this up on. But I think that the Joker might end up killing Bruce Wayne's parents in this movie, because we know that Thomas and Martha Wayne are supposed to be in the film. They've been cast. Alec Baldwin is actually supposed to be Bruce Wayne's father originally, but then like 24 hours later, he was and it was announced that he's actually not going to do it. So I don't really know what happened with that. But I think that one cool thing they could do here is change some stuff from the comic books. Like clearly, you wouldn't want to have the Joker killing Bruce Wayne's parents in like the DCEU, because that would piss a lot of people off. But when you have a Joker movie that's not relying on other characters and is completely isolated, you can do stuff like that and have Joker kill Bruce Wayne's parents. And I just think that's kind of interesting. You can do these little isolated stories, change things from the comics, change things from the source material, and create something new and interesting. And I think Joaquin Phoenix is going to be an awesome Joker. I'll be honest with you. I was a little bit concerned about this movie, but this trailer sold me, and Joaquin Phoenix is the reason why. He's a world-class actor. He's an Academy Award-winning actor, and he always turns in a great performance, and having a world-class talent like Joaquin Phoenix in this movie, I think is really cool. He's definitely by far, I hate to say it, he's the best actor that we've had as the Joker so far. That doesn't mean he's going to be the best Joker, because Heath Ledger the bar is set pretty high for that. But I think if you ask anybody who's a better actor, Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix, they're going to say that Joaquin Phoenix is a better actor. I'm not trying to say that he's going to be the best Joker, because we haven't seen the movie yet. He could be, but I don't know if that's the case yet. And I think if this trailer is any indication about how good this movie is going to be and how good Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is going to be, I think we could be looking at something really special. There is something that's still concerning to me about this film, though, and it's the director. His name's Todd Phillips. I like his movies. I like War Dogs, I think he did, and there's a couple of other ones I've seen that he's done. They're good, but they're not great. They lack character development. They lack a lot of things, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned about this movie. If the trailer's indication of how good this movie's going to be, Todd Phillips nails the character, he nails the character development and stuff like that. But it's a little bit a big of a red flag for me, because I really do like Todd Phillips movies. Again, they're just missing something. And he would not have been my first choice to be the director of the Joker. He just wouldn't be. But, again, if the trailer's any indication, it could be awesome. And I think it will be. And I trust that Todd Phillips is going to make a great movie. And Martin Scorsese, I believe, is still a producer on this. I'm not 100% sure about that. He might have gotten off the project. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I remember when the project was originally announced, like 2 years ago, it was like, Martin Scorsese is producing a Joker movie, and everyone got super excited. It definitely has like a Taxi Driver kind of feel to it. So I'm definitely really curious. This trailer got me a lot more excited to go see this Joker movie. Again, still some concerns about it, but I think it looks really great. And then some other things to the trailer that I took note of is just like, he's a also, which I find really interesting. You see like this one thing the scene in the trailer, and he's like writing some notes down, and it's just labeled jokes. So I guess he's a stand-up comedian. So that's where the term Joker is going to come in. He's also dressed up as a clown, doing some sign spinning outside. So I guess all of this is going to come into play together about the persona of the Joker. And the last part of this trailer I want to talk about quickly is the one scene we see at the beginning of the trailer. He's like really hunched over, and he's walking up the steps. And I saw this theory online. I kind of do agree with it. He's kind of just trying to stay stable. He's trying to not go crazy. And then at the very end of the trailer, you see him on those same steps in the Joker costume, just jumping down the steps, descending into madness, which I think is really cool. Then also, I was saying about Todd Phillips with character development earlier. You get a little hint of character development in the trailer, which was why I have a little bit more faith in this movie than I originally did. Is that like just subtle things, like you see him at the beginning, his back is hunched over, he has no confidence whatsoever, even without the makeup, he just is not a confident guy at all. But then you see him in the Joker costume, and he's standing up straight and looks extremely confident. I just find that really interesting, and I'm really curious to see this movie. We only have a few more months away. October 4th, I believe, is the release date, and I'm really looking forward to it. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's move on to the next topic of the day, and that is we officially have a new trailer for the new live-action remake of The Lion King, directed by Jon Favreau, coming out. Not a full trailer, it's about a minute and 30 seconds, so I would still qualify this as a teaser trailer. I think we're going to get a really big, cool trailer really soon. Full disclosure, I like The Lion King a lot. It's not my favorite Disney animated film, just I didn't grow up with it, I guess. I was more of like the Lilo and Stitch, The Emperor's New Groove kind of generation, but I saw The Lion King growing up, definitely. I just didn't love it as a kid. So I haven't been as insanely excited as a lot of other people have been for this film, but this trailer is really awesome. If anything but the visuals look incredible. The visuals are on par, if not better, than Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book. I mean, literally, this movie looks photorealistic, it looks real, and I can't wait for it. A few things to note. Because my two favorite characters are Timon and Pumbaa, I believe are their names, in the original Lion King, and we got a little snippet of them in the Lion King trailer. At the very end, you just hear them doing a little song, and you see them walking in a silhouette with them and Simba. Favorite part of the trailer, because they're my favorite characters, and I'm really happy to see them in the trailer. They look amazing, too, again, with the photorealistic CGI. And the song, it was really cool just seeing them singing that. I can't remember what the name of the song is, but it was just really fun to hear that. And just a quick note, how perfect casting is Seth Rogen as Pumbaa. I think that's going to be pitch perfect casting. It's going to be awesome. Then we got to hear James Earl Jones, of course, voicing Mufasa, which was really cool. I mean, we obviously know what he sounds like as Mufasa because I think he's the only recasted actor from the original Lion King. But I think that's going to be really cool to hear him back again. I mean, no one can replace James Earl Jones as Mufasa, so that's pretty cool. I see a lot of controversy online, though, and I really do disagree with this about the look of Scar, because I think Scar looks awesome. But people are freaking out because, like, he doesn't have the black mane, and it's like, well, you have to adapt everything to look better in live action than in animated. So, yeah, I think that Disney made the right decision with changing Scar's mane from black to, like, a normal lion's mane. Just because something looks good in animation, by no means it's going to look good in a live action setting. So that Disney made the decision to change it, and I think it looks good. And then Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar sounds awesome. I know it's not Jeremy Irons as the classic British bad guy villain, but I think it's going to be awesome, honestly. I think Chiwetel Ejiofor is a world-class talent. He's a great actor. I think he'll do a great job as Scar. I'm just so bummed, though, because we didn't get to hear anything from Simba. Donald Glover is voicing Simba, I believe. And I was just kind of bummed we didn't get to hear anything from him. It's like 2 trailers in, we still haven't heard anything from Simba. He's a main character film, let the guy talk. And look, he's voiced by Donald Glover. I'm not worried about it or anything. I don't think they're trying to hide Simba's voice or anything. I think it's going to be awesome. But I just really wish that Disney would show us something a little bit more substantive of Simba. But I really do think we're going to get another really big trailer relatively soon. Because, again, this was kind of another teaser trailer. It's about a minute, 30 seconds. It was a great teaser trailer. But I think we're going to get like a full 2-minute second trailer. We're going to get a couple of songs in there. We're going to hear Simba talking and a bunch of stuff like that. But I think it's about a month, I think, we're going to get a new trailer for the new live-action version of The Lion King, and I'm really looking forward to it. The 2 trailers have been great so far, but I just think we're in store for something really special within the next couple of weeks. Alright, so the next thing that I want to talk about is Will Ferrel and Adam McKay have actually ended their partnership as at their production company. And let me see if I can pull up this quote that Adam McKay and Will Ferrell they both put out a joint statement pretty much announcing that they were finishing up their partnership relatively soon. No ill feelings towards each other, kind of a classic Hollywood statement, but still interesting nonetheless. So let me see if I could find this here. Alright, I actually can't find it right now. I thought I had it here, but I can't find it here. Alright, so we're going to move on from that. I'll also talk about my reaction to the story and everything, but I cannot find the official statement that was put out by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. And like I said before, nothing all that special with this announcement. Pretty much just a, look, we loved working together, we made some great films, but it's time to end this arrangement. And honestly, I see why that they would decide to end this arrangement. For one main reason, I hate to say it, that being Will Ferrell, because I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan, but Will Ferrell has made some divisive and honestly not great movies over the last few years, and I can see why Adam McKay would want to distance himself from that. Because look, we just had Adam McKay get his film Vice nominated for Best Picture this year. I have the poster up here for The Big Short that I'm pretty sure was nominated for Best Picture and got a couple of Best Actor nominations in there too. Adam McKay is a really solid and great director. He's also made some other great comedies. Like I think he was highly involved with Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, some great Will Ferrell comedies. But Will Ferrell, on the other hand, while Adam McKay has been going up, Will Ferrell, I hate to say it, I really do, has been going down. Look, has he been in some good stuff lately? Yeah, he was in the Lego Movie. He was in Lego Movie 2. But honestly, off the top of my head, that's the last good movie I can think of within the last 5 years that Will Ferrell has done. Because over the last few years, we've had movies like The House that came out last summer. We had one that came out this winter called Holmes and Watson. And full disclosure, I haven't seen them because they got horrible reviews, and honestly, I just had no interest anymore. We had Daddy's Home 2. We had Daddy's Home 1, which a lot of people didn't like, but I actually did see that one, and I found it kind of funny. So clearly, Will Ferrell's stock has been kind of going down lately. He's been choosing some not all that great projects. And when you have two names tied together, you want them to be good and solid. You want, I'm sure Adam McKay wants Will Ferrell to get in good projects because when you see Will Ferrell as a producer, it like adds credibility to that movie. Like, oh, Will Ferrell, I just saw him in that really funny comedy a couple of weeks ago, so I want to go see this one because he's a producer on it. But then you get people who see Will Ferrell as a producer and like, oh, he was just in that movie, Holmes and Watson. I don't know about that. So I believe that Adam McKay here is trying to preserve his brand, and I think that is perfectly an okay thing to do because he's an Academy Award nominated director now. And I think he has every right to be like, look, you say to Will Ferrell, look, you are not doing good projects at the moment. I'm gonna remove myself from you so I can continue to build my brand because I'm doing a lot better, and I hate to say it, but you're not doing as well. And look, I'll be honest, I am bummed about this because Will Ferrell and Adam McKay have produced some awesome comedies and some awesome dramas and some just great films in general. So I am bummed about it. I think that it's the end of a great partnership, honestly. I understand why. And I think that Adam McKay will continue to direct some great things. He definitely doesn't need Will Ferrell to direct great films. I'm sure Will Ferrell will land on his feet again eventually. It's just been a while since we've gotten a really solid comedy from him. And I do think he'll get his groove back pretty soon, and eventually. I just think that with the route things are going, Adam McKay wants to create some distance so he can continue to make his own brand. Anyways, guys, just let me know what you guys think about this whole thing in the comment section below. Do you think that is a good move by Adam McKay? Are you bummed about it? Or do you not really care? Alright, so let's move on to the next topic of the day, and that is that it turns out Idris Elba actually is not going to be, or he's going to be in Suicide Squad 2, but he is not going to be Deadshot. That was originally thought a little bit ago. So pretty much originally, when Idris Elba was cast in this movie, they said that he was going to be recasting Will Smith as Deadshot. Will Smith was not going to be in the movie at all, but they still want to have Deadshot because he is an important character within this film. But that's not the case anymore. So they haven't released a new character name or who Idris Elba will be playing in this movie. But from the sounds of it, he's definitely not playing Deadshot because Will Smith wants to come back. So what I understand is, from an article from Variety, is that Idris Elba was cast as Deadshot. Idris Elba got in contact with Warner Brothers, or Will Smith got in contact with Warner Brothers. It was like, hey, I still want to come back and do this. I just can't come back and do it right now. So Warner Brothers was like, okay. Of course, they want Will Smith to come back because Will Smith is a great actor and he's a great box office draw at times. So they're like, okay, we're not going to cast Idris as Deadshot. We're going to cast him as another character. I just find this whole situation kind of interesting. Like, why wouldn't you call Will Smith first and be like, hey, we want to cast Idris as Deadshot. If you can't come back, what's the story with this? And so I would assume that Will Smith said that he couldn't come back. I don't even know. I just find this whole thing very odd, honestly, at the moment. Could it be great? Or is Will Smith great as Deadshot? Yeah. But if Will Smith can't come back and do Suicide Squad 2, I see no reason why not to recast Idris Elba as Deadshot. Look, an actor is there to serve the story. The story's not there to serve the actor. So if Will Smith can't come back, tough luck. Get Idris Elba. And Idris Elba, I think, would be an awesome Deadshot. Idris Elba is like an awesome actor, and I think he would do great. So honestly, I am a little bit bummed about this because it sounds like Deadshot's not going to be in Suicide Squad 2 at all, and he was honestly my favorite character coming out of the original Suicide Squad. And I think Idris Elba would have been awesome. So I am kind of bummed about it. It's really not a big deal. But there's another story that I wanted to mention about Suicide Squad. And again, according to Variety, it looks like Harley Quinn is not going to be in the movie all that much. So a report came out the other day pretty much saying that, like, Margot Robbie was going to come back and have a significant role. But it sounds like her role's kind of been reduced a little bit to more of a cameo, so that's interesting. Then another note that's more important is that Jai Courtney and a couple of other actors are coming back to reprise their roles in Suicide Squad, like Captain Boomerang, I think Katana too. They're all coming back to reprise their roles. And you remember that report that came out when James Gunn was originally announced to do the new the new Suicide Squad movie? It's like, yeah, it's going to be a reboot. We're rebooting it completely. Well, kind of looks like they're not really doing a reboot if you have Will Smith coming back as Deadshot, Jai Courtney coming back as Captain Boomerang, and I can't remember, there's a couple of other actors that were coming back to replace their roles. But a reboot is you recast the movie, or you do completely new characters, and it sounds like they're reusing a lot of characters and a lot of actors. So I kind of am unsure about what they're doing with this film. It sounds, from the sounds of it, they're not really moving in the direction of a complete reboot. They're just kind of doing, like, I would say, a reimagining of things. Just because, look, James Gunn is a completely different director than, I can't remember the guy who, I think his first name's David something. James Gunn's a completely different director. He's going to have a completely different take on Suicide Squad, and I'm sure it'll be a very different tone. But it really just drives me a little crazy, because it's like what I was saying before, with DC and the Joker stuff, DC's kind of going back to their old ways of being super reactionary. Like, just say to reboot and stick to it, or say, look, we're kind of doing a reimagining. It's going to have the same cast, but we're going to have a completely different tone. I'd rather have them just say that. But I'm looking forward to this movie. Look, James Gunn's an awesome director. He's proven that with 2 movies and Guardians of the Galaxy and some of his other films. So I think it'll be a great fit. I really do. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think we only got a couple more years to wait, which is, granted, kind of a while. But there's nothing we can do about that. Okay. So the next topic of the day is that we have a new trailer for the movie starring Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista called Stuber. Now, Stuber is a movie about this guy who's an Uber driver. He's just, like, going about his day, picking up another customer, and he turns out to be a cop, and then the Uber driver's name is Stu, thus Stuber, and I can't remember what the cop's name is, but Dave Bautista's character is a cop, and then they get into a whole thing together. I love the line in the trailer, like, Dave Bautista gives Kumail a gun, and he's like, and Kumail's like, I can't shoot that. And then Dave Bautista's like, it's a baby gun. You cry while shooting it. I think Dave Bautista's really funny. I do have a little bit of concerns with him. I'll get back to that in a second. I thought the trailer was great. I thought it was really hilarious. Kumail Nanjiani, I think, is a really good... He's not really a new talent, but he hasn't been in that many films. But I think he's an awesome, newly discovered talent. I think he's really funny. And I think Dave Bautista has his moments where he's really, really funny. And I think that's where Dave Bautista shines, too. He's hilarious. And I just love the premise of this movie. It's an Uber driver just completely going about his day, and then this cop, like, gets into his car and then drives him around the state trying to arrest people and gets him involved in some crazy stuff. It looks great. It looks like it's going to have some cool action, too, with some chase sequences. There's one chase sequence in particular where they shoot, like, a propane tank out of the car and it explodes. It looks really fun. So I said Kumail Nanjiani was a highlight for me in this trailer. Dave Bautista's really funny, and he's proven that in the Marvel movies with playing Drax. I am a little concerned with him in this because he does not have all that much range, and I'm not sure if he's ready to be a leading man yet. And the key word there is yet. I think he has the potential to get there, But I'm just not ready to say if he's ready to be co-starring in a movie. I just don't think so. I think that he's very funny, and James Gunn and the Russo brothers have done a great job of highlighting his strengths in the movie and the Marvel movies, the comedy. But when you're on the poster, when you're the second and lead in the movie, you're gonna have to have more than just funny comedic chops. And I'm just concerned that Dave Bautista doesn't have that yet. Dave Bautista's funny, but he's not a great dramatic actor. He doesn't have that much range, and it looks like this movie's going to command a little bit more from him. And we got a couple of little snippets of that in the trailer, so it does concern me a little bit. Because when it started to be a little bit more serious, I just didn't buy it from him yet. And look, we saw a 2-minute, 30-second trailer. Could that have been changed within the next couple of months by seeing the movie on July 12th? Absolutely. I just am a little bit concerned about Dave Bautista being able to carry this movie along with Kamal Nanjiani, who and Kamal's a great comedic talent, but he's also a great dramatic talent. If you saw that, the Big Sick, he was great in that. So overall, I thought the trailer was great. Just a little bit concerned about Dave Bautista, but I think he does have the potential to pull it off. All right, so let's move on to the next topic of the day, and this will be the final topic. And there was two new spots that landed for Avengers Endgame. So I'll talk about the first clip that dropped a couple of days ago on Good Morning America, and the clip is pretty much, it looks like it takes place within like the first 30 minutes of the film. The Avengers are talking with Captain Marvel, and Rhodey's like, where have you been? Captain Marvel's like, well, there are a lot of other planets out there. Unfortunately, they don't have you guys. And then they figure out where Thanos is, that he's at the garden, and they can see like there's an energy field or something, a similar energy signature somewhere in the galaxy to where to what Thanos did with the snap. So the Avengers are like, let's go there, and Cap is like, I can't say this on the air, but he's like, go get him. Let's go get this guy. But without that exact language. So and the clip was great. Look, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. It's a 30-second clip. It was just fun seeing all the Avengers interact together. That was really cool. Captain Marvel getting to interact with Captain America and Rhodey. That was really fun to see. And that's really what this clip was. It was cool to see all the character interactions. And it did confirm one theory that I've had for a while, and that's the Avengers are going to go and try and defeat Thanos early on in the movie, but they lose, which results in them having to go through the quantum realm to time travel. And that's, again, just a theory. But they did confirm they're going to go fight Thanos in the very beginning of the film, which I'm not surprised about. I think they're going to lose that battle, or Thanos is going to be able to reverse the snap, and then they're going to have to come up with a whole other plan. So, again, cool clip. Confirmed that one theory, and then it was just cool seeing the interactions with the other characters. And then we had a TV spot actually drop early today, which I did not see coming at all. And we saw, it was pretty much the exact same footage that we've seen, except for one thing. Captain America says, you know your groups, you know your mission, watch each other's backs, no mistakes, this is the battle of our lives, which would confirm something really interesting that I didn't see coming, is that the Avengers are going to be splitting up into groups and going on their own separate missions. So that I think is kind of interesting. It's a Star Wars kind of vibe to it. You have, in Return of the Jedi, all the characters are off doing their separate little missions. And it sounds like in Avengers, that's going to be happening again. The Avengers are going to go split up into groups of 2 or 3, probably going through the quantum realm to different points in time and doing different things. So I think that's interesting. I honestly didn't see that coming at all. I thought most of the Avengers were going to be together for most of the movie, and then they would maybe a couple of characters would go on their own separate missions. But it sounds like there's going to be 2 or 3 different missions going on throughout this movie, which I think is going to be cool. My theory is that they're taking place in different points in time, like they'll go into a quantum realm, but they all go to different places. And then we also saw the Avengers in their quantum realm suits. Another quick shot of that, which was pretty cool. And then there's my favorite part in this clip, and it's at the very end of the trailer. Cap finishes his speech, and Rocket's like, wow, he's really good at that. And Ant-Man's like, yeah, I know, right? I thought that was really funny. Like, Rocket hasn't met Captain America. It was just a funny moment. But I will address one more theory before I wrap up today, and that is, I think that the Avengers, like I said, are going to go on their own separate missions, but I think Cap and Tony are going to be on a mission together. Because we saw in the last trailer, the 1-minute sneak peek that they released when tickets went on sale, and Tony's like, do you trust me? And Captain America's like, I do. I think that they're in some other point in time, and I think that they're going on a mission together. And the Russo brothers also said how the Avenger, or a main point in this film, is going to be Tony and Cap reconciling what happened in Civil War. What better way to do that than having them work together on a mission together? But I'm really excited, guys. 2 more weeks, and I will be sitting in the theater watching Avengers Endgame. I really can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome. I don't think I'm emotionally prepared to handle what happens in this film, but I'm really looking forward to it. All right, that wraps up our show for today. If you are listening to the show on WZBT Gettysburg, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ethan Cannistra, Ethan Cannistra. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video and leave any comments about the different topics that we talked about today. Until next time, goodbye.